Good morning. Cindy here in Central Texas, and it is the first part of June, and it's time to take a look at what is growing in my garden in June. It's just beautiful. I just am so thrilled. Most everything I plant in my garden is perennial, meaning it will come back every year, and it sure does. And some things are, kind of growing out of bounds, and they're so happy. And so I am spending a lot of time just trying to keep the bossy plants kind of in, by pruning. The floppy plants I am chopping. And so it's a lot of fun being a gardener in June, except for the heat. It has been really hot, and I, just spend a lot of time watering, which is unfortunate. Right here is my beautiful Mystic Spire salvia. She is about 3 feet tall, covered with bees, and you are greeted with her when you first walk up. I can sit this close, and those bees do not care a thing about me. They just like the nectar from these beautiful flowers. And this is a perennial. She's about 6 years old. She dies back when we have those freezes. And I just leave these uh, kind of brown sticks up all the way through the winter. You can choose to chop them early, or you can chop them in January or February, which is what I do. But another thing I do right about now, right after this video, is I'm going to chop her down about a foot, because she tends to get leggy, and these flowers tend to get really heavy, and she starts falling over. And if you chop it right now and take all these pretty flowers inside in a vase, then it will thicken up down below and look a lot better and not have any flopping over. So it's hard to do, but it's a good gardening rule. Let's look at some more things. Starting on the front porch, my Kimberly Queen ferns are looking fantastic. These are just a little thicker, sturdier branches than your typical Boston fern. I bring this in the garage before the freezes, and so this one is about 4 years old, and I just absolutely love it. And here I have a really pretty begonia. This is a dragon wing begonia, putting out some really pretty flowers. And on this side, over here I have a Christmas cyclamen that's just happy to bloom even in the summer. And I have an angel wing begonia. Isn't she beautiful? I took a cutting from a different begonia, so that's why this one is so small right now. And another Kimberly Queen on the right side of the yard. So my supertunias are in full sun every day, and look how pretty. This is just a wonderful variety of petunia that they have improved so they can handle the sun. Isn't this beautiful? And then coming forward, my ajuga ground cover is looking great. We had quite a bit of rain recently, and so that has really helped everything look great. I have some salvias here. This is some whites. I have already chopped these down, so they aren't real pretty right now. But it's important to chop them because they just get so tall and leggy. And look at the daisies. These are Shasta daisies, blooming their heads off. And I really do need to separate them. They have really gotten too big. These are about 4 feet wide. And coneflower. My coneflowers are covered with buds. We have a few blooming. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? I love my coneflowers. So they come back from seed every year. They kind of disappear in the freezes, and then they come back. And then here's another salvia. This is the Henry Dulberg salvia. And I chopped this too. so that it will thicken up and look better. And I had one of my viewers comment that my abelias looked kind of chlorotic, and I really took a second look, and they are right. These are chlorotic. They're not supposed to be this whitish color. So I've been treating them with some herbicide to help with the chlorosis. So these should be looking better. They should be lime green, not white, whitish green. Thank you to that viewer who commented on that. And moving over here, we have another patch of daisies. These daisies will be popping open any day now. I have only one on this side. And there is that beautiful Mystic Spires. And look at these cuties. This is agastache, and this is called Poquito Orange, and they stay really little, and these have been blooming their heads off since I planted them. And they are supposed to bloom all the way through the fall too. Agastache. Get yourself some agastache. I cannot believe how beautiful it is. And then here is my yellow lantana, Texas Gold. It is kind of bossy though, and it's going to start getting over here in agastache's way, so I will be trimming that. And this is a little Salvia greggii, or autumn sage. This is newly planted, so she's still in shock. She didn't know what to do. And then I have a whole row of abelia all across the back. So this is an evergreen shrub. This one is called Rose Creek. And this is fall aster. And in the fall, it gets covered with these purple flowers. But right now, there are a few peeking out. So it's just a green shrub through the summer. And this is a really pretty lantana. This is the Bandera series. I think this one was called Lemonade. Aren't those the cutest things? And this one stays much more behaved and small. It doesn't get quite as crazy as some of these. And here is just a wild lantana that came up on its own. And this one does get out of bounds all the time. I'm constantly cutting on this, and I may be taking it out. And here is a May night salvia, and another May night, and another Mystic Spires salvia. And this is Gomphrena that just popped up here. She is a volunteer, came up from some seed. This is the Firecracker series. I am going to be trying to dig this up and move this to a better location, because I can't have a big giant Gomphrena right here on the edge of the sidewalk. So I'll be moving her. And I have lots of spiderwort. You probably have this too. It's a lovely little weed that is, I'm constantly ripping it out, but you're never gonna get rid of your spiderwort. It's just a Texas thing that we have all over the place. Here's another nice patch of spiderwort. So you kind of have to either live with it or constantly be ripping it out. It does have a pretty blue flower though. I wanted to show you that my Vitex tree is in full bloom, and it's looking wonderful. Look at that. And this blooms in June and maybe even into July. Such a beautiful small ornamental tree. It's 10 to 15 feet tall, and it's oftentimes has multi-trunks, and I will be clearing out some of this later on, because I really don't like it to grow like that. I want it to grow more like a tree and less like a shrub. My little oleander is really happy. There's actually two of them. I do take them in the wintertime because they seem to be having difficulty making it through our freezes. And then right here, I wanted to show you, this is my agapanthus. And she had been in the ground for 3 years, and I never got one single bloom. So I dug it up and I put it in a pot, And now I have added some acidifier to the soil, and I am waiting to see if maybe one of these days I will get a bloom. We're hoping. And then look at this. This is a proven winner's new plant. This is Blue Days, but it's improved, and it's called Blew My Mind. And look how gorgeous it just creeps. It's a wonderful spiller for pots. This flower is the most beautiful blue, and I just love it. I think I've got 2 of them now, and I'm going to start taking cuttings so I can have more. So another name for this is Evolvulus, or Blue Days. Love this plant. And this is my gorgeous jasmine. It is just in full bloom. It's been blooming its head off. It's several years old. And so because it's older and established, it has been making it through the freezes. But it's every year, the whole top of this just browns out, and then it comes back every year so far. So I'm so glad about that. I know it is not easy to get your jasmine to make it through the winters here. Quick little look at my frog fruit. Really, really invasive, going everywhere, trying to get over here into the gravel. But it's a really cute little ground cover if you have a place for it that you don't mind it just takes over. And I have such a place. This is just a little flower bed that is blocked in on all 4 sides, so I don't care if it just goes crazy. So that is frog fruit, a fun little ground cover. Coming in the back door, the first thing you see is Thryallis. I absolutely love this plant. If you have a place that you can have something tall, you really need this Thryallis. It's also called Golden Showers. And I have some Henry Dulberg salvia in between these 2. And the last of my daylilies are still looking fabulous. But as we look down the row here, all of the rest of them are spent. And so I will be coming through with my clippers and taking off all of these stalks that are finished blooming. I'm going to cut them all the way down to the base, and I'm going to encourage them to bloom again. And mine are reblooming, so it won't be long, and they will put out another flush of daylilies. But these are so pretty, and I have really enjoyed them through the month of May. And then my iris, they were more of a February thing. So no more flowers from the iris, but they were really pretty in the early spring. But here's another look at Thryallis and the blue salvia or purple salvia. Isn't that gorgeous? And I have another stand of it over here with some of the Russian sage. So here is my new flower bed. I had a bunch of Henry Dulberg salvias all in here, and it was just too tall. Everything was taller than those roses. And I thought, that's just not what I'm looking for. And so I took all of them out and I transplanted them to other parts of the yard. And I'll show you how I did that. But now I have some lower things, which I hope to fill this area and look much better. So this is May Night. These are 2 small lantanas. These are not going to get very big. They're about 2 feet by 3 feet wide, and they're a really pretty color. And then I have some pink salvia greggis that I am going to keep clipped fairly short. These are evergreen, which I love that. And then here is a Brazilian rock rose. Isn't she beautiful? And that can get nice and shrubby. I think it might get about 3 feet tall, and that's fine because it's kind of in the back with all those gorgeous white flowers. And then another salvia gregi and another little lantana. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? I can't wait till it's completely covered. And then my May night, I'm repeating these all the way down in several places, all the way down. And here is my Esperanza. No blooms yet because she is newly planted. She's been in the ground about 3 months now. So I can't wait till she starts blooming. And then I have one of these little Augusta Dulbergs left. That's another salvia. And then a rock rose right here. So there's plenty of space for this rock rose to come out and fill up the space. And those rock rose really do that. And my knockout roses are looking pretty good. That's usually the knockouts stop blooming because it's too hot, but they look pretty good now. Got a little fig in a big pot covered with figs. And I've got this little lantana and some dichondra grass or ponyfoot, another rock rose. This is phlox, and I have 2 of them. The 2 that do well here are the Victoria phlox and the Henry Fanick phlox. And so I believe this one is the lighter pink, is the other phlox. And this comes back every year, and every year it will get thicker and thicker and have more stalks at the bottom. But right now it's just 2 little stalks there. Maybe it's 3 stalks, yes. But isn't that the biggest thing? These flowers are as big as my hand. Look at this. So if you can find some John Fanick phlox or some Victoria phlox, you should definitely get some. Now here's another of those small lantanas in that pretty hot pink. Here's May night. And then this has been a lot of fun. This is bee balm or monarda. This is called the Peter's purple. I think it's more of magenta, but it's supposed to be purple. And I have been clipping off, deadheading them to see if I can encourage them to bloom again. I'm not sure. This is my first year, but this one I haven't touched yet. And supposedly if you just pick out the browns, they'll still look pretty for you. Isn't that cool? Just pick out the brown and there you go. They have a new look, new improved look. So I don't know if I'm that kind of a gardener that's going to do that, but anyway, monarda or bee balm. And then the drift roses have kind of stopped blooming. I'll get back here and see. Look at the thick buds ready to pop open. There's some blooming back here. And I really need to start deadheading. That helps. And they're kind of encroaching in my boxwoods back there. So I really need to make that, really trim that out, because you really don't want your boxwoods not getting good air circulation, or they'll start getting all kinds of powdery mildew and spider mite. So that's my next job, is to trim that out. And then here is 2 clematis. There's a clematis here and here, and they are in all kinds of morning sun, midday sun, but not the afternoon sun. So I'm waiting for them to bloom for me. Here are some daisies that are looking great. This is a Shasta daisy. I think this is the Becky series. They're cute. And here's another little May night that's struggling because I just transplanted that in the heat. And some things in containers. Here is my Kalanchoe and a pentas. That pentas is just blooming her head off. Another Kalanchoe. And here is my Plumbago. Comes back every year not blooming yet. I'm not sure why. I know plumbago does like a little acid in the soil, so I have fertilized her with an acidified fertilizer. So I'm hoping she will start blooming. I've seen others around town blooming, so I'm trying to encourage her to bloom with those giant purple flower heads. And this is a drift rose in red. These pretty red flowers all over it. This is the old-fashioned blue days. Looking so pretty here, just kind of a nice ground cover. Here, Ellen von Stein lamb's ear. Look how thick. I just put these in from cuttings last year, and they're already 3 feet across. And my baby cherry laurel is trying to catch up to these here. It'll take her a while to look right though, but we're working on her. And then there's these two here in the front, cherry laurels, that make a wonderful screen between neighbors or the street. But definitely get some. Let's walk down here along the neighbor's fence, and I've got some lantana growing, but my superstars over here, these are new. These are about 4 months old. This is a really tall plant. This is cestrum, and look at the beautiful flower heads. They're closed right now, but wait, this one is open. Let me show you this one. You can see how tall they are. Look how big these flower mounds are. And I just cannot get over how beautiful they are. And this is going to get quite big, and that's great because I have this big area here. I had this really big area. It can get 8 feet tall and 8 feet wide if it wants. Love it. And then I have almond verbena. I have 2 of those, and they are going to look great. And these are the ones that get the white tassels on them, and it smells like almonds. So here's the tassels that have not turned white yet. Maybe one of them will have some. But these are the best smelling tree you've ever smelled. And I just transplanted one of my Henry Dulbergs here, so it looks pretty pitiful right now. And here's another almond verbena. This is going to get 6 to 8 feet tall and about 6 feet wide, both of these. So I think they'll be really pretty. And they come back every year. They are deciduous, so they will drop their leaves in the winter. And next year they will come back much quicker because they'll have a root system. This year they're just still trying to work on their roots. And then I have another cestrum here with lots and lots of room to grow. All right, now are you ready? I'm going to show you my zinnias. Look at the zinnias. Let me get back. Look at this raised bed full of zinnias. This is just so fun every year. I'm going to get a little closer. I've already taken some cuttings, and it's just blooming its head off. These are the California Bennery Giants. That's the variety of zinnia. And they're so big. Some of these are the cactus. This one is the cactus look, and this is just the regular zinnia. Isn't this gorgeous? They're so beautiful. And I just love cutting them. The more you cut, the more they grow. If you cut them, then they will, two stalks come up every time you cut. So that's great. You get more and more. Look at this one. Isn't she beautiful? So I'm in love with zinnias. And right in the middle is one sunflower. Let me show you. She hasn't opened yet. They're so fabulous. And I have some tomatoes. Let me get back. In a whiskey barrel here, I have 4 tomatoes. I know that's too many, but my neighbor just gave them to me and I just stuck them in there. I'm not a veggie gardener, but maybe I am, because look, I have some of these gorgeous tomatoes. These are the Marzano cooking tomatoes, I think. San Marzano. I hope they turn red before critters get them. And then I was told I needed to come in and flick the flowers, because apparently they're not, for some reason, they're not pollinating fast enough. So I'm flicking. Here's another little bit of tomatoes. So I'm thrilled. I may have to become a tomato grower. And on the back side, this is some black-eyed Susans. Look how pretty they are. And let me show you this. I wish my water hose wasn't out, but this is horse herb. And if I get closer, you can see it has yellow flowers. This is a very well-behaved weed. This comes up naturally. Don't pull it out. Don't kill it. Look how pretty it is. It's 2 or 3 inches tall, and it has covered the whole back area. It's usually not this beautiful, but because we've had some good rains, it's very happy. But you can buy this now. This horse herb weed is for sale in all the nurseries. And then look here at my gorgeous screen. This is red tip photinias, and I don't have any disease yet, so keep your fingers crossed. But it's now it's 8 feet tall, so this is its 4th or 5th year. And right on the other side of that is the worst looking construction site you've ever seen. I'm so thrilled that it has given me this nice privacy all the way down. I think there's 8 in here. Okay, and American Beauty Berry, look at her. She is just fantastic. This is her 4th or 5th year, and it's a wonderful understory. She has to be in the full shade, and she's got berries on her, and in a short period of time, these will be the most beautiful pinky purple berries you've ever seen, and the birds just go nuts for it. But right now, the bees are loving it. Look at this little fat bee here. If I can get her. Oh, I can't get the bee, but anyway, the bees are loving it. Getting back from the zinnias, you can kind of see how pretty that raised bed is. And if I pan over here, we have a raised bed. This is a berm. We brought in soil because it is very rocky. I only have about 6 inches of soil before you hit rock. So most every garden bed in my backyard is a raised bed. So we brought in wheelbarrow after wheelbarrow of garden soil, and now I can plant things. So this is Abelia. There's 3 Abelia shrubs in here. This is evergreen, and I just love that every time I come out here, even in the winter, I have something to look at. Here is a hydrangea. This is oak leaf hydrangea, and I'll show you the new one I just planted too. Let's keep moving around. These are fall asters. This is going to be covered with these purple daisy-like flowers in the fall, but right now you just get a few of them. And here is a little sage. This one is Augusta Dulberg, and I have some daylilies back here still blooming. And on this side, I have my cute little hydrangea. This is called Ruby Slippers, and as these flowers age, they start to turn pink and then red. They are so big. Aren't they gorgeous? This is the only hydrangea that can grow in the ground here in Central Texas, oak leaf hydrangeas, and there's many varieties of these available. I've got a few little cannas, and let's keep walking across the creek, down the road here. Turk's cap is already 4 feet tall, and shortly it'll be about 6 feet tall. This likes the shade over here. I have two kinds in here. This one has a blush pink flower, and this one has a more of a coral flower. Isn't this pretty? This has been here for several years, and so each year it comes back a little bit thicker, and I may have to cut it back because it's starting to take over the whole garden. But in here is my leopard plant and some lamb's ear. Over here on the right is purslane. This is a great little plant for an area that gets a lot of sun and not much water. Isn't this pretty? And these flowers open and close during the day. Here is something new to me. This is cedar sage growing in the shade. This is one of the only flowers that'll give you pretty flowers in the shade. Let me show you. Aren't they gorgeous? And I have to put rocks in front of them because I have big dogs that will take these out in a second. Isn't that sad? There's a fern hiding back here. Here's foxtail fern, and there's another fern. And let's take a look at my gorgeous plumeria. Look at her. I've got 3 big sections. Aren't they pretty? Do you hear that blue jay? He is very mad at me. This plumeria comes in the garage every winter and is looking fabulous. Just love that. And this is skyflower or duranta, and in next month you will really see how beautiful this is. This is going to get 6 to 8 feet tall. There's 2 of them here, and this is going to be dripping with purple flowers, but right now it's still working on building the height. But it's absolutely beautiful, and it really looks great here in this kind of center garden because it doesn't matter if it's really tall. Okay, and continuing backwards, I'm walking backwards here. I have a fire pit area, and I have planted some shrubs here. These are evergreen abelia shrubs. This one is kaleidoscope, and kaleidoscope gives you lots of different leaf colorations throughout the seasons, and some cute little flowers that I'm thinking the hummingbirds might like. They're little tulip-shaped flowers. Aren't they pretty? And if we walk a little closer here, I have some things in containers. I have another plumeria. This one is white. Isn't this gorgeous? Here's a fallen one. I'll show you. And if you smell these, they take you right to Hawaii. This is the flower they use to make Hawaiian leis with. And we can grow them in pots here in Central Texas. And then I have some euphorbia. Isn't this pretty? I love these cute little white flowers. And then this is some more of the blue days. This is a Proven Winners Improved Blue Days. And it's just gorgeous. It just really drapes over the side of this beautiful pot and looks great. And then this is my hibiscus. It has one pretty flower. If I get over here, isn't that gorgeous? And it's got lots of blooms all over it, so I'm waiting for it to take off. And then my other container over here, I have shown you this a couple of times. Isn't that pretty? This is bulbing, this tall plant, and we've got some beautiful coleus, and I put in some, this is kind of a vinca, a miniature vinca. I got it in coral and purple. They are new. And then this is woolly stomodia that looks fabulous draping over a pot. Or you can use that as a ground cover. It's kind of a gray color, and it just stays really low, or it's beautiful hanging over the edge of a pot. Love it. Here's another view of these little miniature vincas. Okay, let's see what else is over here. Taking a look at the pollinator garden, I have about 20 feet of area in the far back section of my yard that I dedicated to a pollinator garden. We did raise this up with soil so we could plant in it, and we have filled it with Greg's purple mistflower. And it's got these gorgeous little flowers that the butterflies love. And the queens have been here. They're not here right now for some reason. And I have Gara, a couple of Gara that, these are white Gara. And I have a butterfly bush back there. And I have my Pride of Barbados thinking about blooming and a Turk's cap. I wish the butterflies were here. And then here is my wildflower experiment. This is wild bee balm. Isn't that gorgeous? And gaillardia and some black-eyed Susan and more bee balm. Just love this. This all came out of a package of wildflower seeds that I threw down in October. And isn't this fun? And I've had to keep this fence up, keep the dogs from walking on it. But isn't that the prettiest thing? These bee balm, I cannot get over how pretty they are. This is the wild bee balm. You'll see this on the side of the highways. Walking down the left side of my yard, I have a gorgeous rock rose, just beautiful in full bloom. And there's some catmint back there that better hurry up because it's being engulfed by other things like this lantana. I'm going to have to get in here and cut this lantana back because it is encroaching on the poor catmint. Here is fall aster, just a nice green shrub, but it's starting to put out the purple flowers a little early. I love that. There's a salvia greggii, and there's another rock rose. That gorgeous. And another fall aster. And some salvia greggii or autumn sage. This is hearts and flowers, not blooming right now. Still not sure what that is. Could be some kind of coneflower. And I just transplanted this, so it's struggling. But this is a Henry Dulberg salvia. It'll be fine. And this is flame acanthus. That's maybe in too much shade. I may have to move this. We'll see. And look at this. This is Jewels of Opar. And it's just a nice green shrub. But every day, these little things open up. Right now they're closed, but they open up into these showy little teeny tiny purple flowers. So it's not looking like much on this camera right now, but it's really kind of cute. Jewels of Opar. Here's another flame acanthus. This is a Mexican honeysuckle, and these get really big, and they get these pretty orange flowers on them. And here's another fall aster. I went crazy planting fall asters. And I have a ton of mint growing here, kind of getting out of control. I will have to be pulling mint like weeds pretty soon. And some more Salvia greggii, cute little spineless cactus, and a soft leaf yucca, and another greggii next to my compost bin. Well, thank you so much for coming along with me on my June garden tour. It's so rewarding, all of my hard work, and you gardeners know your hard work when May and June come along and everything starts looking fantastic. I hope you get a chance to get into your gardens. Early morning and after work seem to be the best time for people these days. It's just getting too hot, but you still can find time to get out there and plant a little magic in your yards. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.